I've just bought my dream car. Before we get into things, do me a massive favor though, give this video a like. It really does help me out, it shows your appreciation. Let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes on this video for my dream car. Now then, let's get into things. So for those that know me, you'll know that I am a massive BMW fan. You'll probably know that I already own various other BMWs at this point. And this is a BMW 6 Series. This is a BMW E63 generation, which came from 2004 to 2010. This is a 2008 model, so it means it wears the facelift. So this is an LCI car, which I think the LCI is a massive upgrade over the very dated now pre-LCI. I kind of get into some of the specifics later on in the video, but you probably want to know, which engine does this car have? Which model in particular is this car? Is it a diesel? Is it a 635D? Is it a 630i? No, it's the full fat 650i, which for those that don't know, this has the 4.8 litre naturally aspirated V8 engine under the bonnet. And the engine really is a thing of beauty. This N62 powered V8 BMW engine is honestly a peach. Don't listen to the naysayers on the internet which will say these engines are terrible. Don't get me wrong, they have their common problems, which pretty much any engines do, but if you take care of these engines, then they will last 200, 300, 400, 500,000 miles. And you're probably wondering, well, how many miles is my new car on then? This car has only covered just 102,000 miles, which is very, very low for one of these cars. With it being, what, 17 years old now, it really hasn't covered a lot of mileage at all. So then, I picked this car up from Scotland by a guy who owned this car for just a couple of months actually, and you may be wondering, well, why did he own it for a couple of months? Basically had a change in circumstances and this car basically became surplus to requirements, so I went and picked it up off of him. The previous owner to him actually owned this car in London, I believe, so it didn't stay in Scotland for very long at all. The previous owner to that owned it in London. I think he owned it for 10 or 11 years or so, and I must say I think this car has been very well maintained. I mean, first of all, let's just take a look at the tyres. So it comes with the Bridgestone Turanzas. I think these were the tyres of choice from factory. Excellent tread on these. They are run flats, which I'm not a great fan of, if I'm being honest, but these tyres alone wouldn't have been cheap. It comes with these tyres all round. I mean, you're probably talking best part of £1,000 just for these tyres alone. If we have a look in the boot, the battery that has been replaced very recently for a genuine BMW one. We have genuine BMW wheel bolts, 2 packs of those in fact, and it's just small things like this which lead you to believe that this car has been maintained well. It hasn't had any expense spared. Now then, this car looks great, isn't it? But I don't buy cars without their issues. So what is the problem with this car then? What is the catch? Why did I manage to pick this car up for a pretty good price? Well, I'll wait until the end of the video to talk about why I think this car was very reasonably priced. But now I want to talk about exactly why I bought this car. So as I mentioned, this is the first V8 engine powered car that I've ever owned, and truth be told, before I bought this car, I've never really given the BMW 6 Series in general a second thought. Obviously, it's a coupe, it's only a 2-door, it's not a very practical car, it's not a car that you would typically use as a daily driver. It's a bit of a toy, it's a bit of a luxury item, and you wouldn't really even call it a full-on sports car, would you? I mean, it's still a pretty big car, truth be told. It's definitely not the most nimblest of cars, but what this car should and will do very well is cover very large distances quickly, efficiently, and in comfort. So essentially I am going to be embarking on a bit of a road trip this summer. So I'm going to be covering between 4,000 and 5,000 miles, basically doing a tour of Europe. I think I'm going to be spending 5 weeks in Europe, and I know what you're thinking, am I going to be taking this thing on the Nürburgring? Come on guys, you know I'm not going to be going to Europe and not be going to the Nürburgring. So yes, I do plan on taking this thing on the Nürburgring and seeing what this thing can really do. But yes, I wanted to get a car which I thought would be quite comfortable, a car that's fun to drive, and basically just tick a car off of my all-time dream car list. So I mentioned this car will get you from destination to destination in a quick fashion. This is a very, very quick car. Figures, you're talking about 360 brake horsepower. Torque, I think you're looking about the same in pound-feet. Now bear in mind, this car weighs, I don't know, 1.6 tons, something there or thereabouts. This car though, this feels very, very quick. I'd probably say the fastest car that I've ever owned at this point. When it comes to comfort, you really can't beat these seats. So these are pretty much the same seats that are in the BMW E60 5 Series. So I've spent a lot of time in a previous BMW E60. I absolutely love those sport seats. These are the full electric memory heated seats, so these should be a very, very comfortable position to sit in when covering a lot of miles. Maybe a different case if you was at the back, however, because there is not a lot of leg room back here. You could probably make it work for 15, 20, 30 minutes or so with adults at the back here, but you're not going to want to spend a lot of time being a passenger at the rear of this car. I guess while we're inside then, let me talk a little bit about the interior. So with this being an LCI, you have the upgraded, much more user-friendly and modern automatic gear shifter. We have the paddles, which, believe it or not, actually work surprisingly well. And the whole use of materials in here is just a little bit nicer compared to the pre-LCI. Now for those that care, I'm just going to go over some of the main specs that this car comes with. So it comes with the Sport automatic gearbox, comes with soft closed doors, it comes with auto dip power fold mirrors. As I mentioned previously, it also comes with sport seats which are fully adjustable, electric, memory and heated. It comes with xenon headlights which have the headlight washing system. It has cruise control with braking function, lane departure warning, BMW Online, voice control, hi-fi speaker system, Bluetooth, high gloss shadow line trim, and the optional sunroof as well. It's also worth mentioning that this is a non-dynamic drive model, which you may be thinking that's a bit of a downgrade, but I actually specifically wanted a car without dynamic drive. If you know what dynamic drive is, it's basically BMW's attempt at self-leveling suspension. So when you are going around the corner, the car will remain perfectly flat. Now I have that in my BMW 7 Series, and I'm not gonna lie, it does work absolutely great. However though, when it comes to having an issue with it, it can be an absolute nightmare to diagnose. I managed to do that in my BMW 7 Series. However though, I don't want to do that all again in a BMW 6 Series. So I definitely wanted a more easy to maintain analog system which this system just comes with, of course, power steering, but it comes with regular old anti-roll bars, one in the front, one in the rear. So then, why do I think I managed to get this car for a good price? Well, aside from the fact that this car was in Scotland and, well, not many people are going to travel to the upper reaches of the country to collect a 17-year-old car, the fact that this car comes with next to none service history. So this, you would think, is a bit of a gamble, especially with an engine which is known for a whole host of problems, which could potentially cost thousands to fix if you can't work on cars yourself. However though, I am not worried. The previous owner to the previous owner, like I said, has owned this car for 10, 11, 12 years or so. I can see, looking through the BMW records online, that this car, I think, had about 20 visits to a BMW dealership prior to me picking this car up. So anything that this car has needed, it has gone to a BMW dealership. That previous owner said he lost the service history, which you may be thinking, oh yeah, great one, you've lost the service history, haven't you? I do actually believe them though. I mean, after you've owned a car for 10, 11, 12 years, are you really just going to have the service history to hand? Probably not. The biggest way that you can tell if a car has been well maintained is just by having a look inside of the oil filler cap, which, if we do that right now, you can see that this engine is spotless inside. If this engine had skipped oil changes, the inside of this engine, I guess that's probably a camshaft carrier, that would be varnished, it would be brown, it would be not looking like that right now. So I know for sure this engine has had regular oil changes, which I guess is the key for maintaining these engines. Don't go off BMW's recommended every 15,000 miles or so. With these N62 engines, if you change the oil every year, every 12 months at a maximum, or every 5,000 miles, then you should be golden. So I drove around 500 miles back home after I picked this car up, and it didn't use any oil whatsoever. When I picked it up, the dipstick was on the midway point. I then came home, checked the oil level, and it was still on the midway point. So that kind of rules any valve stem seal issues out. There's no smoking, we're not losing any oil, the engine looks absolutely spotless inside. So I think we have a healthy engine. I mean, let's be honest, you're not going to put £1,000 worth of rubber on a genuine BMW battery, genuine BMW wheel nuts, but then skimp on something like oil changes, are you? Let's be honest, this car has been very well maintained. However, for me though, that now means that I have to build some kind of service history. So we're going to be doing the whole works with this car. We're going to be swapping out all of the fluids, all of the filters. It does need a few other things as well, especially before I embark on a big trip. As I've mentioned, it's going to need brakes all round, discs and pads. I mentioned it doesn't appear to have any leaks, but I do want to take care of a few of the common areas. So the coolant transfer pipe, I'm going to be doing a fix for that. As I mentioned, it's not leaking, but I kind of want to do things preventatively to ensure that it doesn't leak in the future. I also want to take care of things like the vacuum pump seals, the alternator bracket seals, which those are two very common areas for oil leaks on this car. And we're going to be doing things like belts, water pump, thermostat, and all your general maintenance, which you should really be doing on a car after it has turned 17 years old or covered 100,000 miles. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that I've bought a very good car here. If I had to say, you know, just a very, very plain and basic statement, this is honestly the best car that I've ever bought. Best condition, best in terms of a car that has been so well maintained, and a car that really doesn't need a lot of work at all. Cosmetically, it's great, both inside and out. It just needs a little bit of both preventative maintenance and also deferred maintenance, which, like I said, as a car has covered 100,000 miles, you could expect to replace a few engine components just to ensure that it doesn't leave me stranded at the side of a road somewhere in the middle of Europe. So then, let me know your thoughts. Are you excited to see some videos on this BMW 650i? I think I'm definitely looking forward to working on it. It's a platform that I haven't previously worked on, although I think it is a very similar one to that of the BMW E60, which I've covered a bunch on the channel before. But I've never worked on this engine before. I am definitely looking forward to putting a bunch of miles on it and really just enjoying it for what it is. So hopefully you are enjoying this video, and hopefully you are looking forward to what is to come. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all very, very soon in that next one.